Hey guys, welcome back to Florida Man. So I saw a comment asking a question about a previous video, and I thought, I could do a better job explaining that, or at least my thoughts on it. So I'm just gonna make a video. I also had like an inner conflict. I want to talk about it. So let's just jump right into it. So if you look over here, these are all my chart things. I suppose it would be best, what I'm trying to do is build a case, show you some things, and then potential invalidations. But these are things that have been solid since Bitcoin, since 2009. Alright, so first, let's just start here. Election price. Okay, so I think this was part of the question from the comment. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So, election, November, presidential election, November 2012. See this yellow horizontal line right here? So this is going to represent the lowest price on election day in 2012. And this isn't, what I'm telling you, this isn't a rule, this is just an observation. I don't know if it's coincidence, but it's a thing worth talking about. So, election 2012, the price on election day, we've never gone below that price ever again. Alright, so I'm just going to take this off so the chart doesn't get confusing. Here is election day 2016. So November, I'm within a day or two. I set this up on the weekly chart, so it only lets me go to like the week, not the day. But I think it's probably close enough because we've never come close ever again. Okay, so here's election day 2016. This white horizontal line represents the price on election day. We've never ever gone below that ever again. Alright, let me turn this off. And let's do 2020. So November 2020. Alright, let's zoom in some more. Maybe I could do a little bit of work to this one. Alright, so here it is. I'm going to zoom out. We got close, but we've never gone below the price of the previous presidential election. I'm not saying that's a rule, but it is a coincidence. It's something it's worth noting. So let me turn this off, and turn that off. I'm going to turn on 2024. Alright, 2024. Let me zoom in just so I can show you. So that was the lowest price. We just went below it. Is that going to be a wick and then we stay above it and move up from here? This I don't know. But I'm going to show you a few other weird things. And this is just facts and data. None of this is my opinion. Okay, so that is turned off. Now what I'm going to do is, this is what I think, this is how I called the top in 2025. So this is my measuring stick. This is my other measuring stick. The length of these lines don't change. 2025 peak, 2021 peak, 17 peak, 13 peak, alright, we're going to take this one right here. This is the peak to peak. This is what I use to call the tops, or predict, or whatever, when I think the top is going to be in. It's a little bit of a gap, but that's within a couple of weeks of being the top. Okay, that one called the top spot on. That called the top spot on. I'm going to zoom in so you can see. That called the top. This was the highest price we've ever seen. 126. Okay, so this is what I use to figure out when the tops are going to be. And this has not been wrong since the beginning of Bitcoin. So I'm going to stick with using it because it just works. So if this was to be right again, it's saying that the next top should be in somewhere around September 2029. That should be the next cycle high. Alright, I'm going to take this off the chart. That's a date. You should put that in your calendar on your phone. Put September 10th. Actually, you know what? Do you like August 13th? Put that date in your phone with a note saying, are we at a Bitcoin top? I have no idea what's going to happen 4 years from now. We could have had like 6 world wars and everything is different. But so far, this has been working for the past 15 years. I'm going to take this off. Okay, this is my peak to bottom measuring stick. And I'm going to show you how I use that. And I guess we should probably just start at the beginning. Now notice I'm grabbing that line by the middle, so the length is not changing. Okay, so you can see a little bit of a gap there. Just a little. What is it? So December 2nd, December 14th. So like 2 weeks. And then January 12th. So like 2 weeks. Okay. So let's just call this measuring stick plus or minus 2 weeks. But this is the bottom. This is the lowest price it goes in this cycle. So I'm going to use this to kind of gauge when I think the bottom is going to be in. So you can see that this was the bottom right here in 2018. And it was right when it was scheduled to be. So let's do this again. So here was the bottom, the lowest price, right when it was scheduled to be. So let's do it again. So this measuring stick that's been right every other time, there will be a time when this does not work. Nothing works, nothing lasts forever. But so far it's been right. So what I'm trying to do is make my thesis use the things that I know are right for as long as they stay right. So if this holds up, then October 5th, give or take a couple of weeks, is when we're going to see the absolute lowest low for Bitcoin price. So just right down here, October 5th. If we follow the same schedule that we always have followed, and I have no reason yet to believe we're not going to, then October will be when our low is in. So I'm going to take this off, because this is also really important to know. This is another thing. This is not my rule. This is how it is and how it's always been. So we have a peak. We're going to grab the measuring stick, and we're going to go to the peak, to the bottom. 86% drop. So let's come over here. This is the 2017 peak to the bottom. 83.79, 84% drop. Okay, let's go to the next cycle. We'll go to the measuring stick, and we'll go from the top to the bottom. 77.92, 78% drop. Alright, this is gonna get, let me do this first. Peak to bottom. Okay, so this is the peak to bottom. And here is my question to everybody. I do not know this answer. Anything can happen in cryptos. I need more room. Okay, so we'll just call the average 80%. So if every other time these measuring sticks have been right and everything happens on a schedule, if every other time we have an 80% drop, every single other time, does that mean that on October 5th, 2026, plus or minus a couple weeks, I'm making this video in February of 2026. So much stuff can happen between now and then. Does that mean that we will be at $25,000? 25,314? We've never gone below the election day price. And I didn't think that we would because of the amount of money in Bitcoin. But we just did. So if that means, and I don't know this answer, if that means that we broke the trend and went below election day price, does that mean that the next target would be business as usual, 80% drop? So that's kind of, I'm waiting to see, is that just an oddball wick because BitHum screwed up and gave everybody free Bitcoin and they sold it? That's a thing that just happened the day that we had this wick. So if we don't hold, I guess here's my long and the short of it. If we don't hold this orange line, then let me see what I can find. I'm going to put a frowny face right here. And I can make that a little bit smaller, I think. Okay. So if this line doesn't hold and we do break below it, in my mind, the next logical target would be right here. Like 25,000 bucks. Give or take a couple. Last cycle I used this same method, and I was making videos, and you can go back and watch them. And I said the bottom was going to be 14,000. And I was wrong. We only went down to 16,000. But we were at $30,000 when I made the video. So I was pretty close, and I was using the method that I just showed you, the 80% drops. So anyway, it seems as though there was one more thing I wanted to show you guys in this video, but it's escaping me at the moment. And as you guys all know, I don't do scripts. I just tell you what I'm thinking, the way that I'm thinking it. And I try to be organized when I make the videos so that we don't have weird stuff. But anyway, yeah, if we break this, if we break this 70 and go below it, if we start going below, then right now I'm not in a trade because I don't know if this is invalidated and maybe we're just going to go to the moon, or if this is still the steady trend and we're going to go to here. So I'm not in a trade, and let me show you what I'm looking at today. So this trend line has been holding up pretty awesome, and I've been in a couple of shorts. Again, we're looking at the weekly Bitcoin. But I'm not making any major moves in here. Let me show you why. So this is Market Cipher B. Oh, you know what? This might be a great, here, this is a great opportunity for me to show you something. Okay, peak, 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 peak. Let me get that one in this one. Peak, peak, peak. That's the election. Okay. Alright, let me take, I won't do that. Okay, so here, we have the peak. Let's look at the money flow. From the peak, the money flows out and flows red. Alright, I do need to do this because this is a really good point and I didn't consider it until just now. Peak to bottom stick. So let's put our peak to bottom stick. Okay, so there's the bottom. There's the bottom. Look at what the money flow does. After we have a peak, the money runs out, and then it turns red. And this is what I want you to be looking at. It turns red, and then that's the lowest price right here at the bottom of this red peak. Let's see what happened on this one. Peak money flow, peak price, 1 year later. This line is 1 year long. I see the dotted line at my cursor, the vertical line. So just follow that straight down. Here is the peak of red money flow, is the lowest price that we hit. But see how we have a peak? The money leaves, turns red, finds a bottom. Okay, so let's do this again. We have a peak money flow turns red, lowest price. Okay, so now here's what I want you to notice. And I'm going to zoom in on this because this just started. We just started red money flow. It just started. So, I guess what I'm trying to say here is if this is what every other cycle resulted in, this right here. Look how long these are. Look how long this is. Okay. So it looks like we've just started this downtrend, and we may very, very possibly wind up here in October of 2026 at around $25,000. I don't think we're going to go that low because there's so much money in Bitcoin, but this is what we've done every other time. And it's 15 years, that's not a lot, but it's been very consistent over those past 15 years. So this seems very likely to me. So I'm just waiting for a couple more days. I want to see what happens with the election lines. And if we hold that or not, that would make the most sense to me because there's so much money in it. But maybe Bitcoin just doesn't care because Bitcoin follows the same schedule every cycle. And I just showed you that. And we're just starting the beginning of a long and bumpy road. So I'm kind of, as of today, February 8th, 2026, I'm thinking that this is where we're heading. 26K. So maybe you DCA, maybe you just save the money, and I'm not going to tell you what to do. But I'm telling you what I'm doing. And what I'm doing is staying out until I'm certain of a direction. And if over the next week or so we pick a direction, then I'm not going to be putting any money in. No more new money. I got out in October. I sold what I wanted to sell and kept my moon bags. I'm not putting new money in until we get closer or something changes my mind. But history is history. That does not mean it's fact, but history has been repeating, and I'm not going to go against that trend. If you guys have any questions on what I said in this video, let me know, and I will see you in the next one. Hey, please like, share, and subscribe. share this with your friends, because it's no fun getting wrecked, and I want to see as many people make money as possible. This is info that I don't see on other YouTube channels. I just see people selling hopium or going to the moon. And that's what I saw the past few times. That's why I made my channel like I did. I only show videos with charts when I think there's something noteworthy. Otherwise, I think news is really the way to go. Follow me on my Patreon. My Patreon is all of the chart stuff that I don't share on YouTube. I don't think my YouTube audience really cares about charts, most of them. So I save it for the people that do care about charts, and they're on my Patreon. So anyway, please like, subscribe, and share this video with all of your buddies that are in crypto. And if I'm wrong, you can tell me in the comments that I suck. And if I'm right, then you'll know that you should share this to more people. I'll see you in the next one, guys.